All right, we are kicking off a brand new series, and this one is a big one. We're diving into the book Capital Redefined, which asks a really radical question. What if the key to fixing our global crises isn't just about changing policies, but about changing our entire definition of value itself? Let's get into it. And right out of the gate, the authors do not mess around. They hit us with this quote, and it's powerful. The core idea here is that capital isn't just part of the problem. It's the main engine driving these massive upheavals. We're talking about things that are jeopardizing, well, everything. The future of humanity and even non-human life. So yeah, the stakes couldn't be higher.
So, Section 1, A World in Crisis. This is where they lay out the diagnosis. What exactly are these upheavals they're talking about? Well, they describe it as this massive convergence, a kind of perfect storm where both ecological and social crises are crashing into each other. And here are the symptoms of that crisis. And what's so crucial to understand, according to the authors, is how all these things are connected. You've got the hyperexploitation of labor side by side with massive environmental damage. You see this insane concentration of wealth, while at the same time the basic infrastructure we all rely on is just crumbling from underinvestment. And maybe the most heartbreaking part? Our sense of community, of solidarity, is getting shredded. These aren't just a random list of bad things happening. They're all symptoms of the same disease.
All right, Section 2, the sickness of value. Because, if those are the symptoms, you have to ask, what's the actual disease? And this is where the book gets really interesting. The authors say it's not enough to just blame capitalism. No, they argue the problem goes way deeper, right down to its very DNA. And that brings us to the absolute core question of this entire book. What if the real problem, the source of the sickness, is the very foundation of capital itself? What if it's our definition of value, the very thing our entire global economy is built on? What if that's the thing that's broken? So, to fight a broken definition, you need a better one. And this is what they propose. They call it true value. And it's a really powerful, almost simple idea when you break it down. True value has nothing to do with profit or stock prices or GDP. It's simply any quality that is necessary or advantageous for life, all organized life, human and non-human, to not just survive, but to actually fulfill its potential. It's a completely different way of looking at worth.
Okay, so Section 3, Fetish Value versus True Value. To really get a handle on this, the authors say we need a new vocabulary. We need a way to talk about the value system of capital and distinguish it from the value system of life. This is the central conflict they lay out. And this chart really lays out that conflict perfectly. On the one hand, you have fetish value. Think of this as the value that only serves capital. The authors call it a destructive force. And get this, they argue that every time fetish value is created, it's actually a loss of true value. On the other side, you have true value. This is what supports life. And they see it as both capital's prey, the thing it feeds on, and its potential antidote. And it's all based on something they call the commons. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A term like true value sounds a little idealistic, right? Maybe a bit soft. But the authors are really clear on this point. This is not a call to just abandon serious analysis for some kind of utopian ideal. What they're doing is building a whole new analytical framework that has an ethical dimension baked right into it from the very beginning. And here's the key relationship between the two. They aren't totally separate things from different worlds. The authors say fetish value is a perverted and distorted version of true value. Think of it like this. True value is the healthy, living organism. Fetish value is the parasite of the virus that infects it, twists it, and feeds on it for its own purposes. It's a corruption of something that was originally life-affirming. Which leads us to Section 4, the 4 commons of life. So, okay, if true value is this healthy, essential thing, where does it actually come from? The authors pinpoint 4 fundamental sources, which they group together under this idea of the 4 commons of life.
So that's the big question, right? What are the sources of this true value? What are the fundamental building blocks that, when you put them all together, create the conditions where life can actually thrive?
Okay, so this table looks a little academic, but the idea is actually really intuitive. The authors borrow a framework from Aristotle to break it down. So first you have creativity. That's our collective ability to imagine and create a good life. Then you've got livability. That's the real material stuff, the air, the water, the soil, the actual physical inputs we need for life. Third is conviviality. This is the social stuff, right? The solidarity, the community, the way we depend on each other. And finally, there's alterity. And this one's a bit different. It's about our ability to challenge the status quo, to transcend hierarchy and create new ways of being. You put all four of these comments together, and that's what generates true value. And this whole system, this whole interplay, happens within something the authors call the life domain. Now, this isn't just a fancy term for nature. It's a much bigger concept. It's the entire interconnected system of everything: ecology, society, economics, power, conflict. It's the whole stage where this epic struggle between fetish value and true value is happening. All right, so section 5, what comes next? Now that they've given us this whole new language, this new framework, they use it to bring us back to the main event and redefine it. And here it is. This is really the big takeaway from chapter 1. They argue that capital isn't just about making money or markets. Capital is, quite simply, fetish value in motion and operation. It's the system that takes that corrupted, twisted version of value and makes it real, puts it to work, and uses it to reshape our entire world. So if that's the new definition, it naturally leads to a huge, maybe even a daunting question. If capital is fetish value in action, what would it actually take to overcome it? How do we begin to fight back? How do we protect and reclaim those four commons that are the source of true value? And that question is really the engine for the rest of the book. What the authors have given us here in chapter 1 is a completely new lens for seeing the world, and it's a powerful one. Our journey is just getting started, so join us next time for chapter 2, where we're going to explore the limits of more traditional theories and explaining all this. You're not going to want to miss it.